as security rather than a ceremonial role. Since the radical left-wing economic freedom fighters won seats in Parliament at the 2014 elections, President Zuma's speech to open Parliament has been a chaotic affair, with EFF lawmakers chanting and jeering at the president over corruption scandals. A total of 116 Nigerians have been killed in South Africa through extrajudicial means over the last 2 years. Well, that's according to the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Alegedly. She made the disclosure after meeting South African Ambassador to Nigeria, Lulu Lewis Unguni, in the capital, Abuja. She reportedly said that nearly 7 out of 10 of the killings were carried out by the South African police. The latest killing of a Nigerian in South Africa occurred in December 2016 when police in the city of Cape Town suffocated Victor Nadi to death. Well, let's get more on this story from the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Mrs. Alegedly. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So what more can you tell us? What more can you tell us about these killings of Nigerians in South Africa?
Well, December 29 last year, a Nigerian, Tochukwu, was allegedly murdered by South African police. Yes, he was arrested for drugs. When the process, he was tackled and he died under their custody. So we are demanding for justice for Tochukwu's death, and to ensure that justice prevails. We're asking South Africa to please investigate the death of Tochukwu and let justice be done. So while we are doing that, we have to recall that in the last 2 years, 116 Nigerians, according to statistics from our consulate in South Africa, have died in the hands of, have died in South Africa. And 63% of them, as you said, were linked to police killings. We know that xenophobia in South Africa, we agree, we know that happens, but it has affected a lot of Nigerians. So we are appealing to South Africa to please, curb this violence, and in the case of Tochukwu in particular, ensure that justice is done. But the good news from the South African High Commissioner is that investigations have started, and he has promised to ensure that we get to know the results of the investigation.
So how soon are we going to get the result? Did he mention that?
No, it may take a while, but we'll be on top of the story. It may take a while, but we definitely will ensure that we do stay on top of it.
Now, we've also heard stories of Nigerians and other Africans being allegedly killed in Libya. What is the federal government doing to protect its citizens in other countries outside Nigeria?
Well, the case of Libya in particular is pathetic. As you know, Libya is dealing with a war situation. There's no government in Libya. But what the Nigerian government is doing is raising awareness that there are some places you should not even go to because you're endangering your life. Nigeria has been able, through the IOM and NEMA and other agencies, return almost 700 Nigerians in a couple of months. In fact, in another week or two, we'll be bringing back another set of about 200 Nigerians from Libya. And I think we have about 1,000 that we're going to return back to Nigeria. So really, at this point in time, we can only appeal to Nigerians to avoid places like Libya, because your life will be in danger anyway. So we need to embark on an awareness program that some of this migration, irregular migration in some cases, is not worth it. But no matter what, we cannot criminalize irregular migration. There'll be migration, whether regular or irregular, but we can even regularize the irregular one. So wherever Nigerians are killed anywhere in the world, we'll ensure we intervene and we'll ensure we get justice for Nigerians.
Mrs. Alegedly, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. Over 90% of Nigerians seeking asylum in Germany are facing deportation unless they embrace the country's voluntary return program for irregular migrants. This is according to the head German Migration and Development Program, Mr. Ralf Samtenberg. The German envoy stated this in Abuja at a meeting with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diasporal Matters, saying his government wants to set up a migration service center in Nigeria.
The migrant service centers have 4 different objectives. We will inform Nigerians which are interested in to migrate to Germany. We will inform them on the risk of irregular migration. And on the opposite way, we will inform and advise them on the regular ways to migrate to Germany. And we provide advisory services on return and reintegration for those migrants which return from Germany to Nigeria. Actually, there are 37,000 Nigerians living in Germany. More than 12,000 of them are asylum seekers. And there is only a little chance for them to get their application for asylum approved. So 90% of them will be forced to go back to Nigeria within the next years.
We've been having African migrants dying at sea for years, but nobody paid attention. But now that it has affected Europe and America and the whole world, attention is being paid to it. We don't want to see Africans die in search of survival. But an illegal immigrant also has rights, and those rights need to be protected. We thank Germany for protecting them and protecting their rights, and we hope that others will emulate you. So we look forward to having you set up this service, which will be willing to partner with you in Nigeria.
The Russian embassy has alleged that pirates have abducted 7 of its sailors and 1 Ukrainian in Nigerian territorial waters. The Russian embassy in Nigeria stated on its Twitter page that, quote, the BBC Caribbean ship came under a pirate attack in the territorial waters of Nigeria. 7 Russian citizens and 1 Ukrainian citizen have been kidnapped from the ship, end of quote. The Russian embassy also says that it has asked the Nigerian authorities for assistance in establishing the whereabouts of the abducted. The general cargo ship BBC Caribbean was attacked by pirates in the Gulf of Guinea, 45 nautical miles southwest of Brass, Nigeria. The incident happened near Pennington Oil Terminal at Nigerian Delta when the cargo ship was approached by a motor skiff with armed men on board who opened fire. A story credited to the Russian news agency TASS reported that the guards on board of the general cargo ship BBC Caribbean also returned fire. This latest incident comes months after 3 Russian sailors were taken hostage when the Saronic Breeze ship was attacked in the territorial waters of Benin. The sailors all regained their freedom on December 20, 2016. Still to come on Network Africa, soldiers in Côte d'Ivoire continue their mutiny as negotiations with the government fails.